It is Friday, and we're going to be talking today. Obviously, you can see World Cupper, so there's no surprise here. We're going to be talking about tennis. Yes, we are. We're then going to move on. Hopefully, we're going to be joined by both Dave Betts and Jay Paglia from Sports Keg to talk some UFC. Then we move over to a bit of esports with the lovely Adam Booth and the Spanish GP finally with Eric. So today in tennis, we are talking with the lovely World Cupper, the Madrid WTA and ATP semis and finals. Now, obviously, massive clash at the moment. Semi-finals, Sloane Stephens, Kiki Bertens dominating. Is it fair to say we're going to see her in the finals?
I do think that she pulls this off in a straight sets victory. And if you haven't already, if you can track down some Kiki Bertens for a title in Roland Garros, she was available at 18, 20 to 1, depending on where you were shopping. Earlier this week, had some conversations with some of my sharp friends in the tennis betting space, and they were all very high on Kiki Bertens this week to do well, and in the fortnight in a couple of weeks at Roland Garros. So track down some Kiki Bertens futures if you don't already have some, and she's gonna have her hands full tomorrow though, because she goes up against French Open favorite, Romania's favorite tennis player,
and Alex's. the third love of Alex's life.
Well.
He's got his wife and his beautiful daughter, and then I think Simona is a very close third in Alex's life. Yeah, it's but so you think that even before Kiki Bertens has played Simona Halep, you're like, take Kiki Bertens, because I'm going to guess that those odds will drop on Kiki Bertens.
And no. Her odds should come. Her odds are going to shorten substantially after this run, after this match. I mean, she's performing very, very well right now. She's kind of, you've seen her game improve over the course of the last several seasons. Her best surface, in my opinion, is clay. She's won some pretty impressive titles in the last 24 months or so. So, she's due for a legitimate run here. And, I'm expecting this final between, granted, I'm probably jinxing the heck out of her. So sorry to all the Dutch tennis fans. I apologize for jinxing Kiki Bertens. She's a wonderful player. She should go through to the finals. But let's just, let's, for the sake of content here, let's pretend like we know it's going to be Simona versus Kiki in the finals tomorrow. That should be an extremely competitive match. Simona Halep played Belinda Bencic today. That was one of the better tennis matches of the whole season so far. It was so good. And you look at the scoreline, maybe you wouldn't think that because it was a 6-0 in the third set. But Simona really showed that she had the fitness and the ability to outlast Bencic. Bencic was making some nice shots, and Simona was tracking everything down. Really got it done with her patented defense. And it was impressive to see it play out. And I'm glad Bencic is back on tour. She seems to bring out the best of a lot of the other women on tour when they go head to head. Simona tomorrow in the finals. She's got the goods to go the distance. I'm expecting that one to be a long, 3-set, match. So over 2.5 sets, you're probably going to get a nice price in the plus money range, in the 2.2 ish. I'm going to guess, and I think that's worth the swing. Games over is probably worth the swing too, because I don't see, a world where this gets done relatively quickly in 6-3, 6-4, or something like that. This is going to be a long match with some back and forth.
Yes, I know. I agree with you. Actually, I think this is going to be a long match. But obviously, both being clay surfaces, if Halep were to win, what would you be would you be nervous about your Kiki Bertens ticket?
Well, I'm already holding Halep liability. So Halep should be the favorite for the French Open and will be the favorite. And the fact that Halep is performing so well here in Madrid is especially great sign, because this is not necessarily as slow a surface as you have at Roland Garros. And so, they're playing at altitude. Madrid is about 3,000-ish feet or so. It's not like, it's not like the Alps or something, but it's definitely higher than sea level. Because of the thinner air, the ball flies a little faster. The clay itself is a little bit, more worked. So you get a little bit more bounce. It doesn't tend to eat the ball like the clay and Roland Garros does. So you're going to have a pretty clear sign that she is in really good clay form for playing well on this faster clay surface. And I think that goes for both women. Both women are great clay players, and their games are even more devastating on the slower clay. So I think this tomorrow, watch that match, take notes. That is reasonable, unless something weird happens in the draw. That's like your final preview for French Open.
Yeah, wow. And because I was going to ask if whether there was any differences, obviously, between the two clay courts, and very interesting you're sort of saying about the altitude and things. So basically, it's quite a good warm up to play in Madrid, and then it should be easier based on
it kind of gives the players on tour, both men's and women's, who rely more on their serve, who rely more on their shot making. It gives them, it levels the playing field a little bit, because it's a little bit more difficult to track down the winners and things like that. It's traditionally, if we flip over to the men's side, it's been the one kind of major clay tournament on the men's side that Rafa Nadal has had the most trouble winning consistently, and a lot of that is because he's obviously the best ever to play on clay, but this particular clay plays the most like hard court, or like a slow hard court, and a lot of that is because of the altitude and because of the way that they prepare the surface.
I'm just going to read some comments now. So Failed at Life says, no sun for Whale Kappa. Yes, that was the first thing actually I said. Very surprised to see not this bright blue sort of halo around him. And then he says Adam Booth says, looks like he's in England. Yes, it does look like he's in England. But he says the shirt is bright though. They're liking the bright shirts. Exactly.
Yeah, I called in the sun. I said, hey, make sure these clouds are out of here in time for my show with Natalie. And they, the call didn't get through to the right people, and here we are with freaking overcast today.
The wardrobe will just have to do. The wardrobe will bring the sunshine. All right. Let us talk now. Obviously, so men's semi-finals. Who are you liking? Obviously, Rafael Nadal, King of Clay, 2.62. Obviously to be the Madrid Open winner. Who do you agree with that right now, and who do you see meeting him in the finals?
Yeah, I think Nadal should be a heavier favorite to win this title than he currently is. I think there's value on him as a parlay leg tonight when he takes on Stan Wawrinka. Wawrinka's a nice player. He's got some nice shots. He doesn't have the class on clay to compete with Rafa, in my opinion, and I think Nadal will take care of him relatively easily tonight. Nadal kind of got a rude wake-up call in both Monte Carlo and Barcelona, getting beaten, pretty convincingly beaten in both of those tournaments by players that, they know how to beat him, so you have to kind of weigh that in there. But I think that was a pretty good wake-up call for him to really he needs to get his game in order and develop some confidence and really kind of have a mental edge over the field heading into Roland Garros, because if he doesn't pick up either this title or Rome, he probably really needs to pick up both to kind of go in with the confidence, with the mental edge over the field that he usually does when we get to Paris. So it's going to be pretty important for him to do well here. It was notable in the Australian Open this year that Nadal changed his service game in a way that gives him more of an advantage on serve, and I think that will serve him well. No pun intended. That will serve him well in the quarterfinals and semis and finals here. But I do think Nadal takes home a Madrid title this week, and this, what I have no idea who wins this Zverev-Tsitsipas match. This is an absolute coin flip. It is a complete 50-50 match. Even if knowing who wins the first set, I still don't know, because this looks likely to go the distance here. Zverev is playing. He's had a horrific 2019. Like, this is a guy that took major steps in his career over the last 2 seasons, winning Masters, winning the Tour Finals last year. It was entirely expected that he was going to challenge for slams this year, and instead he has been a joke. He hasn't beaten anyone in the top 20 this year. He's lost to players who he should be routinely beating in tournaments that are important. And so we really don't know what has been going on with Zverev to this point in the calendar year. So it's easy to write him off. It's easy to look at him as he lost it, he doesn't have it, he doesn't, but you listen to his media this week, you listen to his press conferences, and you get the sense that he's in a different mind space at this tournament. He's the defending champion here. He knows he plays well here. He knows it's important to start putting together wins on this calendar year, or he's going to see his ranking slip. He's going to get much tougher seeds, much tougher draws, and that's going to drastically impact his ability to compete in these bigger tournaments. And so, I guess if I was forced to make a play on this in play, I would look for Zverev to come away the winner against Tsitsipas. But Tsitsipas is a damn tough opponent, he's going to give him the goods. So
yeah, I know we've spoken about Tsitsipas in the past, and it's going to be a tough match. Is there any value in obviously with Nadal being quite a big favorite there, 1.29, Stan Wawrinka 4.4? Is there any betting value in that match?
I think there probably is. I think that's a good look for an under. Nadal, he's serving well enough that I don't expect him to be broken in this. And when his game is peaking, which it appears to be based on the way he played so far this week here, he breaks at just an unbelievable clip. I don't know what the price is on Nadal 2-0, but I would take that at anything better than about 1.78-ish. I think there's value in anything, any number better than 1.78. I would say that the under is a good look, because this has 6-4, 6-3, or 6-3, 6-2 even written on it to me. Again, I don't dismiss that Stan Wawrinka is a very good player, and that he's kind of coming into a little bit of form, but Nadal should take care of him relatively easily today. And set up a pretty good match tomorrow. Assuming we get Nadal Zverev tomorrow, I would look for a price like maybe 1.5-ish on Nadal, and there's probably value in that. He hasn't been getting a whole lot of respect from the bookmakers. It's been really interesting to see, because every clay season Nadal his prices are just outrageously favorable, and they're begging you to take the underdog. But this year it's been a little different, and so you might see here this week and then next week in Rome some value taking the heavy duty favorite in Nadal to pick up a couple titles here as we head into Paris.
Yes, I know. We're going all over the world with this tennis. We are, and all right. So just to recap here as we round off our tennis segment today. What are your favorite tips here heading into the finals, semi-finals of the Madrid Open?
My favorite is the semi-final tomorrow. Djokovic is taking on my guy Dominic Thiem in the semi-finals. It's a good little budding rivalry, and will make for must-see television if you like tennis. They're very compatible on the surface. They're very even. Dominic Thiem played an amazing game today against Roger Federer. It was so entertaining. It looked like he was going to get beat. He defended match points in the tiebreak in the second set, came back to win. It was this is all kind of buoying my spirits as a guy who backed Dominic Thiem to win the French Open. So I'm excited for him. I think he gets the win. I don't think they should have they made him the underdog on the opener, which I don't agree with. I think he should be a small favorite over Djokovic. He has a better pedigree on clay. He has played Djokovic very well over the last 2 seasons on clay. And I know a lot of that was Djokovic wasn't really back to himself when Thiem got him in the last couple of head-to-heads. But all that aside, Thiem is really playing with confidence that we haven't seen from him before this year in his career, and I love it. And I really like his odds to get by Djokovic tomorrow in the semifinals as a small underdog.
There we go. Very exciting stuff. I know you're going to be on next week as well. I'm obviously away. I'm not in the studio. I'm in your lovely country, the US of A. Yes, I am. So Alex is going to be hosting next. So that should be fun. You two tennis minds.
So we can do a whole Simona Halep appreciation hour. That'll be fantastic. I can't wait.
I know, especially as well if she wins as well
yeah,
finals.
that'll be big.
Yeah. All right, fantastic stuff. World Cup, always a pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll check in with you next week.